We're back. We're so back. Okay. Okay. Let's start by setting our skills, of course. So we still have menacing focus. Get better focus. Our new skill is... It's focus-based too, right? I thought we had a new skill. Or is menacing focus just like an up... Oh, there it is. Extraordinary focus. Increase the focus gauge by 2. Nice. Hold on. So this increases the focus gauge by 2. This increases the focus gauge by 5. So I guess menacing focus is our new one then, right? And this is, it's just like a straight upgrade to extraordinary focus. Okay, fair enough. Alright. That should be fine. Alright, let's build a theory of the case. I have 18 pieces of evidence. Alright, first thing, Monokuma file. Due to the explosion, the victim's identity is unknown. They were however dead before the blast. The victim had been stabbed a single time with a knife, which went completely through the body. So they were for sure, the knife was the murder weapon. Or a knife, at least. They'd also been struck in the head with an object about as thick as a metal pipe. The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old. Okay. So, killed with... The explosion has burnt the upper half of the body beyond recognition. The upper half of the body remained on fire and had to be extinguished. Because of this, the upper half is soaking wet while the bottom is dry. The body was wearing notably long fake nails. Why? Tattoo of a dog. So this basically confirms that this is our 16th student who's dead. Like, almost certainly. The bomb came from Monokuma. Wait. It was a Monokuma bomb. Hold on. If it was from the gym, how does it get there? Right, that implies at some point between when we left the gym and discovered the body, someone placed the bomb, like moved the bomb from the gym to the body. The only person who, that only could have been Toko or Kyoko. The sprinklers are programmed to come on every morning at 7:30, and this time is impossible to change. As such, it can be assured that if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, it would have gotten wet. Yes. So he couldn't have been killed before 7:30, which gives basically everyone a perfect alibi, unless. So 7 a.m. Makoto wakes to the morning announcement. 7:30, Makoto and Oi arrive in the dining hall. So that gives, and the body was dry. That gives basically everyone except for me and Kyoko, a pre-7:30 alibi. 7:30 to 9, Makoto meets others in the gym. Toko is told to find the pickaxe in the garden where she discovers the body. The knife found near the body was the same knife that was used to stab it before the explosion. Oh, hold on. It is also the same knife that Toko had given to Makoto for safekeeping, and the knife the masked assailant was holding when they attacked Makoto. Interesting. Because we do know for certain I was attacked, because the knife is missing. The tarp was hidden among the other items in the tool shed. One side was wet and filthy, with mud and grime. The other side was completely clean and dry. Number of chickens in the coop. This is a really random one. It has decreased from 5 to 4. Esther claims that there were, without a doubt, 5 chickens just before nighttime, and yet... Like, how could that possibly be relevant? Bianca said there was no corpse in the garden just after nighttime last time, so it can be assumed the murder must have taken place sometime after that. Byakuya also said that he, Yasuhiro, Toko, and Oi were in the gym the entire night, and none of them were alone at any point. The corpse had a mask covering its head and a white jacket covering the body. A knife had been thrust into the abdomen, and there were bloodstains around the wound. The body had stopped bleeding, but the blood was still wet. It was noted, however, that there was no blood on the ground around the body. Okay, so then we have Mikuro Ikusaba. After the killing game began with 16 participants, all students. It is assumed that Mikuro Ikusaba was the 16th student. Monokuma also revealed that the reason Kyoko wears gloves is to hide something she doesn't want anyone to see. This woodblock decoration was found in Kyoko's room. It looks like it's actually the key to one of the lockers in the dojo. A set of titanium arrows was found in the dojo locker. There appear to be 10 in total. Along with the arrows, there was also a wadded up ball of duct tape in the locker. The duct tape had traces of blood on it. It's assumed that this is related to the case, but nobody can imagine how. Kyoko used Monokuma's secret tool, which grants access to any room in the school, to sneak into the second floor of the dorms. This area seems to have no monitors or security cameras. Okay, so here are my immediate thoughts. The immediate twist in this case, I think. The details that everything else hinges on. The sprinklers are going to be very relevant. It's going to be insinuated that the sprinklers, that either me or Kyoko had to have been the murderer, because we're the only ones who don't have an alibi in the time period, right? And the body... Well, even I have an alibi for post-sprinklers, actually. Well, not quite. I have an alibi for post-sprinklers, actually. Yes, that is correct. I don't have an alibi for pre-sprinklers, but the body isn't... The body isn't wet, which implies it was killed after sprinklers. But actually, what if it was killed before sprinklers? And just, like, covered with the tarp or something. I think another key thing is we found some clues in Kyoko's room, specifically that key. How did the key get there? Kyoko, in theory, didn't have access to her own room except for this. Right, apparently she actually did have access to literally every single room. So there's that. Here's one thing I can see. Because a lot of this seems sort of impossible. Right, in particular, if the idea is... we know for certain, right, from... this. We know the body was manipulated between when we left the gym and when we found the body. At some point in that time frame, it was manipulated. Only 2 people could have done that. Kyoko or Toko. I don't see it being Kyoko, in theory. I can see a world where, and here's another thing. This isn't really hard evidence, but Byakuya seems really annoyed that it's not Kyoko that's dead. I think that is telling quite a bit. Because if I'm Byakuya, he's intelligent enough to know if he's going to kill someone, he should kill Kyoko. Because if Kyoko is alive, she is the best detective we have. He kills... There's a world in which he kills the masked person thinking it's Kyoko, because who else could it possibly be? On the idea of, this is my chance to kill someone and not have Kyoko in the investigating it. Now, the wrinkle with that is if we assume this bomb detail is correct, which implies that someone had to have messed with the body between when we were done messing with Monokuma and when we found the body, only Kyoko or Toko could have done that. But, you know, Toko, I think there's a universe in which Toko actually is willing to be an accomplice to Byakuya. Not even for gain, just to do it. Right? She is kind of infatuated with him. That or I killed him. I could be the killer. Who knows? We'll see. I don't think I'm the killer, but it's the most possible with this case, for sure. Okay. Well, I'm sure more details will come out at trial, but right now I think my leading theory, Byakuya killed this person on the idea, thinking it was Kyoko. Used Toko to help give himself a rock-solid alibi. And, Alright, let's go. Alright, for the Honorable Judge Monokuma.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Okay, well, I'll leave the rest up to you.
Well then, let's discuss the specifics of the victim. First, we need to clarify who exactly the unidentified victim is.
It's Kyoko. There's no other explanation.
Dude.
But Kyoko's standing right there.
No, that's a ghost!
But she has legs and stuff.
Well, that's just because she's like the latest evolution in ghost technology.
There's a limit to how much ridiculousness I can tolerate.
Okay. So I just have to prove that the corpse isn't Kyoko, right?
Yeah.
Then let's compare Kyoko's traits to the traits of the dead body.
Her traits?
One important trait Kyoko has that proves the body doesn't belong to her is her piercing glare. Her gloves or her face? We don't know anything about the body's face. It's gotta be her gloves, right? And I have so much focus. I'm amazing. Okay,
I got it!
like that was just don't make any
I'm
sense.
talking about her gloves. They'll give us some insight into the mystery.
That's
I'm
right.
sure of it.
If the glove don't fit, you must quit.
In that case, I think it would be helpful if someone explained why she actually wears those gloves.
And would you happen to know the answer?
We got sassy Kyoko today.
In fact, Monokuma told me. Apparently you have scars on your hands you don't want anyone to see.
Oh, you know, now that I think about it, the corpse wasn't wearing any gloves, right?
They probably just got burnt up in the explosion. I'm not convinced. The ghost is just trying to fool us all.
Are we seriously having an actual argument on whether or not Kyoko is a ghost right now? Really? There's no way that corpse was Kyoko. Like, dude, I have to prove this? But if I can't prove why we're gonna be stuck and the case won't move forward. Here, quit being a moron. How about that? So I don't have any choice but to. Yeah. It's gonna be the tattoo.
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves. Because that corpse is absolutely Kyoko.
This entire discussion is idiotic.
No, that body isn't Kyoko's. I know I can prove it. Okay, hold on.
Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Fake news.
Impossible.
Or not fake news, fake nails.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
It has to be the tattoo.
Wearing gloves before the explosion.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves.
Okay.
Shoot!
And is it just that, like...
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
And am I just saying she wasn't wearing gloves too? That she must have been wearing gloves?
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves.
Okay.
Shoot!
And I have so many ways I can prove this isn't Kyoko.
That Kyoko there is
Okay,
just
what
a
other
ghost.
things?
Impossible.
Fake nails, exploded
Okay,
body.
Then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body
What is the
wasn't
body
wearing-
analysis specifically? It's burnt the upper half of the body beyond recognition. The upper half of the body remained on fire and had to be extinguished. I mean, it's just... that doesn't really seem relevant.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
And the fake nails don't really seem
Then she was
relevant.
wearing gloves.
Body's wearing notably fake nails. Oh, I guess this could be the evidence, right? Because if you had... you wouldn't wear fake nails with gloves, right? That doesn't seem like a good recipe. That must be it. Because did you like get in the way?
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves. Because that corpse is absolutely Kyoko.
Before you can't even figure out what to disprove. Indeed.
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves.
No, there we go. Okay. Now, you don't wear gloves with long nails, obviously. As we all know.
No, there's no way the corpse was wearing gloves. Whoever it was, they were wearing fake nails, remember? I imagine trying to wear gloves over nails like that would have been a pretty big pain. Besides, Kyoko wears gloves to hide her hands, right? It'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious about their hands to wear fake nails, don't you think?
Actually, that seems pretty normal.
Jeez, man, you don't know women, huh? They're complicated like that.
If anyone doesn't know women, it's you.
Get him, Ina. Roast him.
Well, Kyoko, any thoughts?
These gloves were custom made to the size of my hands to make sure they don't interfere with my daily life. If I wore fake nails, the gloves wouldn't fit properly.
That's right. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Then that's that. The dead body doesn't belong to Kyoko.
Which should have been obvious since she's standing right here.
Yeah, thank you, Byakuya.
Okay, so then, who's the real victim? First, we need to figure that out.
That's the first thing I said. You're the one who's been dragging us around in circles.
Before anything, we have to identify the victim. Everything starts from there. Gotta do that tattoo this time, right?
If Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out. I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body...
We can identify the body from the tattoo, actually.
No, it's wrong. There was one clue left behind that we can use to identify the body.
What? For real? If you're lying, you'll die a cruel and unusual death.
Unusual.
Cruel and unusual death. This I gotta see.
She's just being stupid. Ignore them, Makoto. Tell us what you're talking about.
The key to figuring out who it was is the tattoo on the back of her hand.
Oh, yeah. The design's pretty strange, huh? Her master must have made her get it. To be like, you're my bitch.
Seriously? You really did something that humiliating?
Not far off, but
No, that's not it. The identity of the victim is hidden within that tattoo.
Oh, really?
if you compare the tattoo to other information we have, the victim's identity should become clear. The profile, probably. Unless we have something specifically about the mercenary thing. Okay, I'm obsessed with the military. Years later. Remember, gets a tattoo. There we go. Yep.
I got it! The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of the military group Mukuro Ikusaba belonged to.
Okay, so...
To show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that joins the squad would get a tattoo representing Fenrir somewhere on their body.
Fenrir?
The image that represents Fenrir is... It's a wolf. It's a wolf. Okay, it's a wolf. Easiest one of these ever.
Now I understand.
That's not worth an S rank. I don't know what it is.
Fenrir is a wolf.
Fenrir, the Wolf of Ragnarok. It's from Norse mythology. A huge, world-ending wolf beast. He's the child of the trickster god Loki, and a female giant.
Man, after all this time, we finally got a glimpse of the literary all-star.
He's not wrong.
A wolf tattoo. And that means...
Exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf.
I love how there was so much build up for the
Which means
16th
that
student and
person
then they
must
just
have
die
once belonged
immediately.
to Fenrir.
We don't even properly meet them. They don't even get a line of dialogue. They're just dead.
So it must have been Mukuro.
What?
Hold on. Isn't she the one that was behind this whole thing?
You sound surprised, but you're absolutely right.
Really?
Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
Are you saying the mastermind is dead? And now we have to have a last trial?
No, it means we were wrong in thinking that Mukuro was the mastermind at all.
But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me.
Where did we even get that from?
Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the first place. After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right?
Oh.
So that means Kyoko got it wrong?
Who was she? Who was Mukuro Ikusaba? She's been gone this whole time, and when she finally turns up, she gets killed.
Yeah.
Usually when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail.
So you're saying she wasn't an important character?
I mean, yeah, kinda.
Which would mean she was the same as us. Just another participant.
Then who's the real mastermind?
It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster after all.
No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Mukuro was wrong.
My information was not wrong.
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Mukuro is first and foremost. Please limit all future prattle, chatter, and chit-chat as much as possible.
If she wasn't the mastermind, how'd the key get on her body?
Fine. Uncovering the identity of the mastermind will have to wait. But remember this. No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
I have officially decided to completely ignore all such attempts at provocation. Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state this one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder among the students has taken place. Hammer that point straight into your big ol' brains!
What you're saying is that both the victim and the culprit are part of the student body?
Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Wait, no! There's a chance that there's some mystery 17th person who's been hiding all along!
Unfortunately, no.
Nope. There are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
Hey, why didn't you care that Mukuro never showed up to any of these trials? What the heck, man?
Seriously? Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Who did it? Who's the killer this time?
Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the list of possible suspects.
Huh?
I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Who the evidence points to?
You talking about me or Kyoko? Based on what we know, there can only be two suspects. Okay, it's either Mukuro and the headmaster, Toko and Genocide Jack, or yeah, and he's going to say Makoto and Kyoko. So, I don't think so, but this is what he's going for.
I got it! You've narrowed it down to Kyoko and me, right?
Why do you say that?
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, I went to the garden, so I can confirm that at that point, there was no dead body there. So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym the entire time.
The gym?
Why does that shock you?
That's right. The four of us were there trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time, we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. All of which is to say, the four of us all have alibis. The only ones without alibis
Are me and Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow down the list of suspects.
exactly so.
So the only suspects now are me and Kyoko. Damn it, I can't let this stand. Someone have to clear my name.
I have something I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing.
Are you thinking of raising an objection?
Yes.
Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place.
Fair enough.
Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help him out.
Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden at... Well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd say it must have been around 10 o'clock.
10, okay.
So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the body? Oh, but what time did we find the body?
About 9.
The one who saw the body first was Toko, right? And she went to go get the pickaxe.
So the body was discovered at about 9 o'clock.
I got it! The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m., since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe.
It's like a 10-hour window. No, what am I thinking? It's like an 11-hour window. I left the gym. It was just before 9 o'clock, so it's right 9 on the dot now. Okay, go get the pickaxe and be back by 9:01.
He's right. It had to be around then.
So we can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning.
For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around Oh yeah, right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it.
Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., you don't have an alibi.
I guess. The murder happened between 10 p.m. and 9 a.m., and I don't have an alibi from 10 p.m. till 7:30 a.m. Except I do! Okay, then it looks like the game has begun. If I can't provide an alibi for that period, I just have to prove the murder didn't happen during that time. I don't have an alibi. It's the sprinklers.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock.
I thought all these things were just
to
times.
7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time.
So sprinklers, I think, is it's not an objection to 7:30. But it goes with 7:30.
We've established a time frame for the murder.
Like, technically it's an objection to
It
the...
took place somewhere between...
It's an objection to 10 o'clock, though, technically. Okay, yeah.
No, it's wrong.
Because the sprinklers would have activated previously. So it's actually, our time frame is 7:30 to
The
9.
murder couldn't have happened anywhere near 10 o'clock. It had to have taken place way later.
And what makes you say that?
Because of the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked.
Oh, hold on. I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet. Dripping wet, in fact.
No, you're mistaken.
Sorry, Toko, but you're wrong.
I'm wrong? How? Are you saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you spew such indecent words?
What the... Actually, it's the inverse, I believe.
No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers.
What do you mean? By denying the sprinkler, are you trying to deny my entire existence?
What?
Man, you're totally wacko.
If you really think it wasn't the sprinkler,
It could have been Toko acting alone, in theory, depending on when exactly the murder took place.
you better tell us why!
I need to prove that it wasn't the sprinklers that got the body wet. All I have to do is hit Toko with certain evidence, and that should do it. Okay, here we go.
I admit nothing. I hate you. No! I don't know anything!
What was reload again? Hold on. Reload is... I don't know why it's always this one that I always forget the thing. Reload is tab. Gotcha. Okay.
I'm right about this! I hate you! No! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No! I don't know anything! Hold on!
Okay, final strike.
How can you say it wasn't the sprinkler?
It's the, no, not the body. Yeah, the body before the explosion, in theory? Hold on.
I'm right about this! I hate you! No! I don't know anything! Hold on!
Okay, hold on. What are my options here? Body before the explosion, exploded...
It wasn't the sprinkler!
Gotta be the exploded body analysis, right?
This should prove it.
Yeah, okay.
Just remember what the body was like after the explosion, and you'll see why it wasn't the sprinklers. The top half of the body was wet, yes, but the bottom half was completely dry. If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole body have been wet?
So they only got the top wet? The bottom was completely dry? What a brutal maniac!
Huh?
I'm so sick of her.
Agreed.
Let's just move on. The reason only the top half was wet was because... while the body was still on fire, I doused it with water. But only the part on fire, the top half.
Oh, then I guess the sprinklers really didn't do it.
So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, then the murder must have taken place sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning.
To be clear, I don't think this is actually what happened, but it clears my name, so, you know.
Which means she must have been killed sometime between then and when the body was discovered at 9.
But Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning, right?
So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you.
In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko.
And Tucker, technically. Kyoko's the only one without an alibi? Which would mean that Makuro's killer is... No, I refuse to believe it. Kyoko murdered someone? That's...
I'd just like to say one thing. If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen.
Huh?
So are you saying you're not the culprit?
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
A trap?
We're this far into the game and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time! Stop wasting energy! You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you!
You got it, boss! Shutting up now!
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her.
Huh? She did?
I guess, in theory, you could make the argument she would have been, like, desperate, because she didn't have a room to sleep in anymore.
She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything.
But there's that too, I guess.
So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko? But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial, something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So, that was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
Nah.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Oh, you're trying to get me killed? What?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
What are you...
Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Interesting. I'm listening.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
I mean, you got me there, Kyoko. A certain something at the scene was used to cover the body. Could it have been... Wait, I'm arguing against my own interests here. Well, now, my interest is to get to the truth. Even if it does cast suspicion on me for a bit.
I got it! You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water.
I suppose.
The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Well, it would expand the potential time frame of the murder.
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place.
Or it would shrink it, yeah.
In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Kyoko, you don't actually think I killed him, did you? Do you? Why would Kyoko say that? Why'd she want to make me look like the killer? No, I can't think about that right now. That tarp. If it was used the way Kyoko said, the tarp must have touched the body, right? But the body...
Wait, something's not right.
And what might that be?
Can't worry about Kyoko's motivations. If I don't do something, everyone's gonna think I'm the killer. I have to refute what Kyoko said. Knife at the scene, body before explosion, body analysis, fragments, or when the body was found.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
Hold on. Gotta see if they're hidden in the tarp somewhere. Now let me take a look at this. So the tarp is completely clean. Should it not have blood on it? Is that what we're getting at here? The tarp was hidden among the other items in the tool shed. One side was wet and filthy with mud and grime. The other side was completely clean and dry. Okay. Let's look at the... What's the exploded body analysis? Explosion is burnt, upper half the body. Okay, I don't think that's relevant. But maybe before? The body before the explosion. Corpse had a mask covering its head and a white jacket covering the body. A knife had been thrust into the abdomen and there were blood stains around the wound. The body had stopped bleeding. But the blood was still wet. The blood was still wet! If the tarp was on the body, how would the tarp have not gotten bloody?
The killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water.
And it was, but... Okay, that... Wrong statement. I think I've got the right evidence. So. Need to think about it one more time. There's a contradiction. Okay.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side...
Okay, hold on.
Shoot!
Alright, am I barking up the wrong
By
tree?
covering the body
Hold on.
with-
Okay. Wait a minute, hold on. If the tarp was used as she described, it shouldn't be dirty. It should only be wet. Where's the dirt coming from? Right? If anything, it should be clean. Meaning the tarp wasn't used to cover the body, it was used to move the body. Alright, where do I do this? Hold on. We got the knife when the body was found. Frag.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side...
Hold on, let's use this.
...is the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water.
Okay, maybe it's the other way around.
Shoot!
think I've got the right logic. I just
By
gotta.
covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side was because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
Hold on. Didn't get dirty. Okay, so hold on. We've got. Let's think of this. Was protected from the water.
The killer prevented it.
Didn't get dirty.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side.
Only dirty on one side.
Because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless.
I think it was protected from the water.
That side was protected from the water.
So it was protected from the water.
Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
Okay, well. Maybe it's the other way.
Shoot!
I feel like so many of these times, like, they're asking me to decipher between like two basically synonymous statements. Okay, oh no, I died. Okay. Dang. Okay, oh no, I died. Nope.
Is I refuse to give up yet.
Okay, so we'll try the other way, I guess. Knife at the scene, body, exploded body, when the body was found.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
By covering the body with the tarp,
Didn't get dirty.
the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water.
Okay, okay. Here's what I'm doing. Last one, we use
By
the
covering
body
with the tarp,
before the explosion.
the killer prevented it from getting
Okay,
wet.
yeah, that's what it is. We're directly contradicting the idea that it didn't get dirty on the other side.
It's because the sprinkler got
Okay.
that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
There we go. Okay. It should. So I had the right logic from the very beginning, just didn't have the right specific combination.